voices echo in the dark. Mark and Steve ignite the spark.
What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. Aaron Taylor here with Mark Burnett, Kentucky Talk Sports. So glad to have you with us here today. We've got a great Memorial Day weekend planned.
Oh,
right?
man. I mean, I don't know about my plans, but
I got golf plans.
you got golf. I got a scan I got to take, so it's gonna be it's not nearly as fun as golf, but and I think it's going to rain a little bit on Monday too. I don't think it's going to be great. So, but you know what? Between now and Monday, it looks good outside. So I'm glad to get to go play golf, man. Because I wanted to go play with you. I know you asked me, and
I invited you.
You did your brother-in-law duties.
If you would get your priorities straight, we'll get you out there. He said, "I got to work." Okay.
Yeah. So the I don't know. So that threw me completely off.
It did me too.
So what we have coming up this what we got on the show today?
Okay, so first and foremost, we've been kicking it off the last few shows about baseball and softball. Unfortunately for the boys, their season seems to be done. Baseball wrapped up this past week with a loss to Breckenridge County. The Tigers for the Meade County Green Waves this year has been a thorn in their side. They beat them on May 2nd, and then turned around and beat them this past Wednesday 2-1.
And that was in the District 11 championship.
Yes, sir.
Now the girls are in the District 11 championship this week as well.
That's right.
I think it was against Hancock County. How did that one come out?
I think they blew them out. I don't remember the final score, but it was 10-0.
10-0.
10-0. Man,
yeah.
that's pretty good. Good recall. 10-0 for the Lady Green Waves. And I'm telling you, you called it. I got to give you props, man. You said, because they kind of stumbled out of the gate a little bit, lost some games, I should say, and they've put it all together. And I mean, they're going into the regional now.
Yep. So the next step's the regional. I don't have a date on the regional tournament yet.
Either.
So as soon as we get that, we'll get that out to everybody. But yeah, man. So it's school, high school is ending. I think today's the last day, or today's graduation, I believe. So once they get through that, it'll be into, it'll be a lull in sports for the high school. But we'll be back in the fall with. Oh
yeah, and plus you got spring ball, you got
I mean, football practice is coming up.
Oh,
yeah,
they'll be.
It's a jam-packed summer for the kids. Just not so much for
and I've heard
us.
new head coach, right? New head coach for the boys for the football team. I mean, we got to get them in here. We got to get the players in here. Because like I said, I'm an outsider. I'm from Hardin County, but of course, if you played in Hardin County or surrounding counties, you know about the Green Waves. You know about that home field advantage they've got. You know how the town shuts down and comes out and supports them. So it's a fun atmosphere to be a part of.
It is. I mean, it's always packed. It's always packed at the ballpark when you go out to watch the Lady Waves or the boys baseball, football. We usually have a pretty good crowd for the football team. Like you said, we basically, it shuts down. Brandenburg shuts down. Meade County shuts down, and they come out to the games. So it's always I always enjoy going out to the games and the atmosphere, the high school football popcorn. I love that stuff. So
just atmosphere.
It is. It is. Like it is. The smells, the cheering, everything. It's awesome. So moving on, I think we have some little bit of talk about a little NBA talk today.
Yeah,
right?
man. Local news too. SGA's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, of course, went to Kentucky. One and done player. Didn't turn out, in Kentucky the way he probably wanted with a championship. But
yeah, I mean, he's another one of those guys that he has a lot of fanfare. He came to Kentucky. Mm-hmm. It kind of slowed down a little bit. Like he didn't come out of the box hot. Yeah. Spend a year at Kentucky and then goes on to the NBA, turns it on, G League, and the next thing you know, he's a star. He's an MVP. I mean, he's MVP, and and he's in the Western Conference Finals right now. Between it's them and Minnesota.
Yep.
And
they're
so.
Up 2-0.
Which makes me kind of happy because it's not all the way on the West Coast or anything. I like those Midwest teams to have their day, and I get kind of tired sometimes of LA this and LA that. Yeah. So I was even rooting I was even rooting for Oklahoma City against Denver Let's see, that's who they beat. Just
Yeah,
recently,
yeah.
Even though there's there's Kentucky players everywhere in the NBA.
Oh yeah, man.
You got Cat up in
Minnesota.
up in
New
Cat
York.
and Cat
Julius
up
Randle.
in New York. Julius
Swapped.
Randle's up. Yeah,
Julius
they
Randle
swapped. He's
swapped,
he's
yeah.
over in Minnesota now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but so you had Minnesota. You had, of course,
OKC's got
Murray,
Shea and Casey
Shea,
Wallace
yeah, and Casey Wallace is playing good ball, man. He's coming off the bench,
coming off the bench.
but he's I saw him hit a couple of big threes the other night, and
But you got Jamal Murray for the Nuggets, and
yeah, that's where I was going with Murray. Yeah,
crazy. Man. And then it's really sucks when you look back in time. And
I know
see
it's like what could have,
all the
what
talent.
should have been,
Oh, my
what should
gosh.
have been.
And it's so funny because you look at like just researching these topics today. I was looking at like comments and stuff, and people that are not even remotely Kentucky fans, they were like blasting John Calipari. Like, how do you not have 5 championships at least? With these squads, but
It's hard.
It is hard.
It's
It
hard,
is.
and I mean, I saw something the other day that how talented Kentucky's team is this year and coming into 25, 26. And we just picked up another recruit,
Yep,
Hawthorne, the other day.
yeah, we were going to talk about it. And of course, the weather kind of pushed us out, but yeah.
Yeah, and so he that signing, I'm excited for that kid. I mean, he's still he's raw.
He's raw.
He's raw, and he's going to have a great opportunity under Mark Pope to really.
That's what we're looking for, though. We're looking for the raw guys. We're looking for the guys that back
Yeah.
up, kind of come off the bench, and
I mean, with
create
this day,
sparks,
with this, with this day and age of the
portal.
of the portal and NIL, I really would I want to see this kid develop, stay here, and and get excited about somebody. Who was it? Who was it? Miller played for Darius Miller.
Yeah.
That played for us, right? Played for Kentucky back in
He played for
2012.
Gillespie,
Yeah,
and then he played on the national
he was
championship
he was in Gillespie's last
Yeah.
year as a freshman, and then he played 2 or 3
He
years.
finished his year. He was a senior. He finished his
because it was 2012.
career. Yeah, he finished his career or started his career in the NIT and finished his career winning
But
a
he
championship.
developed and
of course,
he
yeah.
developed into a draft pick. I don't know if he was.
No,
picked
he
in the
was
second round.
He was a second round.
It was a second round
to
draft
the
pick.
Magic, I believe.
He ended up playing with Anthony Davis down in New Orleans.
Maybe, yeah.
So I don't know if he was drafted by New
I was
Orleans
thinking
or
he
if
was
he was.
drafted by Orlando,
But it's in there
Yeah.
somewhere. But anyway, the point of it is that he developed, became a good player. He was a good player coming out of high school. We all he was a high school. He
From
was a
Kentucky,
Kentucky,
right?
From
Yeah,
Kentucky,
yeah.
Maysville, I think, or something. like
Yeah,
that.
I think you're right.
And so, it was really cool to see that I like to see that. I want to see those kids that come in rough. Now this kid's rough, but he's not super rough because he's the fastest climber in the final rankings. So,
Oh, wow.
I mean, he got all the way up to like 33,
Okay.
the number 33 in the country. So he's got skills, but he's light. He's like about 180 pounds.
Yeah, I
He's
think so, yeah.
6'8",
6'8". I think he was 6'8" or 6'9". Yeah, something like that.
180 pounds. That's
That's
light.
little. Yeah.
So we'll see where
That's
that goes.
like
but
one like half of my butt cheek, 180 pounds. So SGA wins the MVP. He averaged 32.5 points per game this year, beating out, of course, the reigning MVP Nikola Jokic in the for a trip to the Western Conference Finals. I mean, they just balled out in that Denver Nuggets series, and no to take nothing away from Nikola Jokic because that dude. I mean, he reminds me of the guy that you see at like the rec center, like wearing blue jeans that comes in and he's just hitting shots. You remember Hoosiers? I think Hoosiers when they go out to visit the guy at the farm and he's just out there just shooting, not missing,
He's just that cornbread fed kid out there.
guy.
Yeah,
And of course, this dude's from Serbia or wherever he's from.
yeah.
But
That's cornbread bread.
Oh my gosh, man! This dude is just one-footed jumpers and everything. But anyway, SGA just incredible season. Now he's got something, some history here that he can actually chase. I did research this, so he's got a unique opportunity to cap off this season by being only one of 8 players so far to lead the league in scoring. Check mark. Win the MVP. Check mark. He's got to win the finals and then win finals MVP. I'll give you a hint though. Can you name the 8 players?
Oh,
And I'm gonna give you a hint. One of them's got 6 of those.
yeah. That would be Michael Jordan.
So when I say 8
so,
players, I mean it's been done 8 times.
yeah, so 6 of the 8. So it's really
8.
only 3.
Jordan, man.
Jordan was.
He's
Jordan
a thorn
was,
in my
I mean,
side.
I know. It's an age thing,
Yeah,
right?
it
You
is.
know, I mean, I know there's not a huge gap in our age, but I mean, it was like 12 years, something like that. You're I think you're about 10 years older.
Yeah,
younger than
I'm
me,
42.
So yeah, 12 years younger than me. So.
Okay.
I mean, I guess that's enough. That Jordan was
I
the
was literally
guy.
just talking about this to a
I was
with a
in
guy.
the 20. I was in my teens and 20s when
That's right.
Jordan
About the
was
same
rocking.
time.
The same thing is for you.
I was 20 when LeBron came out.
Yeah.
When I was actually talking to somebody at work just today about this. You know, LeBron made a statement a long time ago about how he was chasing a ghost. But really, the ghost aspect comes in because Michael Jordan was so iconic.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was really the first iconic sports athlete. You know, I mean, there were great athletes and people.
Yeah, I mean,
It was like Dr. J and all these guys, but the coverage, the media coverage, the commercials, the branding, it was a whole new world.
It
you know, and
was.
he's
I
paved
mean,
the way
he
for the
basically
Tigers and LeBrons and everybody
he
else. to come after.
created
Oh, absolutely.
an entire. I mean,
his commercials were being shot by Spike Lee. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was an icon.
yes,
you know?
he absolutely was, and it was and think about the point that Jordan. Jordan didn't have to take a lot of basketball money because he had so much money coming in.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that the way he structured his shoe deal and such, and was it Charles Barkley that said that Jordan basically showed him how to negotiate his, his shoe contract?
Yeah.
That's a great video. If anybody wants to go out and check that video out
is
from
pretty
Charles
cool. It
Barkley,
is pretty
because what he and just in a nutshell, what he said was, don't. He said just ask for a piece.
That's right.
He says, and then go sell shoes.
Yep.
He said because then
It was kind of like the Founder movie, where he realizes, you know, he doesn't want to really be in the restaurant business.
He wants to be in the land business.
Same thing with Michael Jordan. I
which
mean,
taught him how to steal the McDonald's Freud from the McDonald's brothers. But that's another story. Yeah.
If you see
But it's true.
Yeah, if you see the movie Air, have you seen that movie Air?
Is that the one with
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon?
I've seen. Yeah,
Ben Affleck plays Phil Knight. You know, in that instance, you know, they were just wanting to get, you know, like a percentage of the shoe sales. And Jordan was like, listen, if this is going to be my name, and actually it shows his mom was the one that was like,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to have, you know, once my baby's name is on this, then you're going to sell shoes. And one of the best lines in that movie is Phil Knight says, what did we make in basketball shoes last year? And Matt Damon's like, I don't know, $2 million. And the first year with the Air Jordans, they made $100 million at Nike.
Yeah.
And of course, the rest is history. But my point is, going back to this,
It really made Nike. I
Oh, of
remember.
course, yeah, they
I
weren't even a
remember because I
basketball
was.
shoe.
I mean,
It was
when
Converse
I mean,
and-
when I was, Converse was everybody was wearing. Everybody was wearing Chucks.
Converse and Chucks. And,
Converse
Adidas.
and Adidas.
Yeah.
Adidas was, I think, more of like a tennis.
Well, I know, and
More-
but Jordan
they
was
were
actually
more structured on
considering
tennis,
signing
yeah.
with Adidas. I
Yeah.
mean, that's who he was going to sign with. Was Adidas.
And,
it was a Run DMC thing. He said he used to wear the Adidas jumpers and the tennis shoes
exactly.
like Run DMC.
You're right. But then it became, Jordan joining Nike really made Nike.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in my opinion,
No question.
And then everybody wanted to be the next Michael Jordan. I mean, I remember King Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
Was it King?
Yeah, his
King
cleats,
Griffey Jr.
his cleats were Jordans.
Yeah, and
I had them.
he wanted
The Seattle
to
Mariners Nikes had the Jordan logo on
he
them.
was trying to negotiate with Nike to become. He wanted to be the next Jordan.
Oh, I see what you're saying,
because it was
yeah.
around the time that Jordan retired.
Yeah.
And so there was a story about that. I can't remember the whole story, but it's something like he went to him and said, "Hey, I'm ready to step into those. Let's build my shoes, let's build my brand. And nobody had done that before Jordan, but now everybody wanted to be the next Jordan in that. So not just on the basketball court, but in the spotlight and the shoe business basically.
Yeah, and you think about Ken Griffey Jr., who's a big baseball star, obviously, but
Yeah.
think about it as a global
He's one of my
icon.
favorites.
My sweetest swing in history, in my opinion. But you look at the global iconic power that Jordan had. They talked about Barcelona when they were at the Dream Team.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't know any of these players. They knew Michael Jordan.
Everybody knew Michael
wearing
Jordan.
Michael Jordan jerseys, and it was just shouting out, Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan.
It's a John Stockton sport. The John Stockton story in Barcelona. It just cracks me up. It's like he's out talking to people, and they're wearing the shirts and stuff, and he's like, like they don't even realize it's him, and his face is on their shirt.
Oh yeah,
and it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And what I liked about it is John Stockton took it all in stride. I mean, it's like, guys, everybody knows who Michael Jordan is. They got to know Charles Barkley in that trip because he was kind of a man of the people.
Yeah,
went out and talked. I mean,
shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah, he was, and so, but he loved it. And that's if you can get out and do that, that's great. And Jordan is a little bit bigger. It's so big that it's hard for him to do that. But the others could get out and start mingling, and by the end of that a lot of those people were cheering for Charles Barkley. Not as heavy as maybe Michael Jordan, but they all came there to see Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, no question. So being one of only 8 times where a player's led in scoring, win an MVP, win a finals, and win a finals MVP, 8 times it's happened. Jordan did it 6 times. Kareem and Wilt Chamberlain, only other 2 players that do that. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can join some elite company. But here's a little nugget.
They play tonight?
Yes. No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow's
game.
Did they
30.
play last night?
They played last night, 2-0.
2-0, so they're 2-0? Okay.
They're 2-0.
Yeah, I missed last night's game. So
SGA went off 38 points, I think.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he had
Anthony Edwards is getting bottled up. I'm going to tell you something, man. It's crazy. The Pacer series is another one. It's crazy that the defense, how much it steps up in the playoffs. Like everybody knows that NBA basketball is not a defensive prowess, through the regular season. But in the playoffs, you always do see it ramp up. I'm talking about stars being taken out of their games. You saw it in the Boston Celtics series.
Yeah, I mean,
with Jason Tatum and
Jason Tatum
Brown.
was bottled up.
And I said there was no way the Celtics would ever win that series. If you remember the last time we were on it.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks.
No, I actually said they would come back and win.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
you did say that.
And then Jason Tatum tore his Achilles the next day. Anyway, don't let me on your draft.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember.
They were down 2-0 or 3-0. No, they were down 2-0, and then he tore his Achilles. They
was
lost,
down
and then they won. They made it 3-1. They won without him, but then they got beat.
Yeah,
5. Anyway, but to put a little nugget out there on this one, this is a pretty cool stat. So the Charlotte Hornets become the first franchise in all 4 major North American sports, so NBA, NHL, MLB, and NFL, to trade away on draft night 2 future MVPs, Kobe Bryant in 1998 and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in 2017. Is that not nuts? Or 2020, sorry, excuse me.
Now, remind me, who did they take instead of Kobe Bryant? Now, Kobe Bryant didn't want to play for Charlotte.
I don't know what the situation was, but they traded him on draft night to LA, obviously. And I can't remember what they got for him, but it wasn't much. But it was a player. There was a player involved in that.
I can't remember I remember all that because I remember it was one of those situations where
Bryant-esque player.
But it was one of those. No,
they didn't get Kobe in return.
They were. I remember that whole deal. I remember when Kobe Bryant was, was in high school.
Oh yeah,
and they were talking about how great he was. He wasn't even playing. I don't think he was even playing in like the
U.S.
U.S. He was playing in France. He was playing in France.
He was a military brat.
Yeah,
his dad. For some, I think he did.
He didn't even play AAU or anything like that. It was like
he was
eating it up in France. And
but it was killing in France. But some way, somehow, he went to a private school in France, but also in the U.S. for a very short time. But he was drafted way under the radar, but he wasn't the player that he was.
But because nobody, he was. You say under the radar, everybody knew he was good. In high school,
yeah. But you don't trade somebody.
But nobody. It comes down to the heart that a player has. I mean, you can teach a lot of skills.
Yeah.
But you have to have somebody who's willing to go work those skills, and I think that's what I see in Kobe Bryant. It's what I saw in Michael Jordan when I was, as we were growing up, and those are the things they worked so hard. And there's lots of others. I mean, you can go with Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. These are all guys with incredible work ethics. that have honed their skills to such a level that they overcome other maybe some deficiencies. A lot of people didn't like Larry Bird because he said he was couldn't jump, blah blah blah. Well, you're 6'8", 6'9". How far do you really have to jump? Yeah, right. You got to you use your body to get rebounds. It's just the way it is. But nobody shot like Larry Bird. Oh yeah, nobody. I mean, people talk about Stephen Curry. Nobody shot like Larry Bird. Yeah. Stephen Curry doesn't shoot like Larry Bird. Yeah. I'm not taking anything away from him, but Larry Bird could make all the shots from anywhere on the court. Yeah. And so again, it's about honing your skills, and that's out shooting it on the barn, making all the shots from all the angles. He is a Hoosier. Well, he's the embodiment of a Hoosier, right? So I think it's going. We're only one game into the Eastern Conference Finals. The Pacers, they continue to upset and make a name. Tyrese Halliburton is playing at just an ungodly Where did he come from? Now. All this, I mean, he's crazy. A good player,
absolutely, but he is playing above and beyond.
He is lights out right now.
Absolutely,
it's incredible.
And his defense is locked down. So he's just playing all over the place. Skipping ahead to the NFL real fast. So the NFL schedule was released. We were going to talk about this last week, so this is kind of old news. But I just wanted to, Mark here is a Bengals fan. I'm a Broncos fan. Yeah. So I did kind of just pick out our games because we're going to talk about other teams as well. But the Bengals and the Broncos both got 4 primetime matchups, okay? So the Broncos, I was looking at a stat. When Peyton Manning retired in 2015, 2016, the Broncos went 2 years in a row without a Monday Night Football game. It was the longest stretch in their franchise history. Yeah. Then they've now just made the playoffs for the first time since Peyton Manning retired. They've only beat the Chiefs twice since Peyton Manning retired. So this is like the opening of, okay, maybe we got a good quarterback in Bo Nix. Sean Payton's the coach. Maybe we can start, piecing things together. And obviously the NFL took notice and they put us on TV finally 4 times this year. Plus, we have the London game, so I was pretty excited about that. So we should.
The London game always throws to me. The London game is everybody. Well, it's not. I'm not talking about just from my side, but I'm saying that a lot of times that game becomes, it's slug. It seems like it's sluggish because they have to travel to get there and it's a different time. You're playing early in the morning in your regular time. So especially if you're coming from Denver,
it's 9 a.m. America or Eastern time
when it kicks off.
When it kicks off,
Eastern time, which is in Denver, it's 7 a.m. in Denver. So because Denver's Mountain Time, so you're 2 more hours behind us. So yeah, man, it's like are you getting up at 7 a.m. to go play football? It's not. Your body knows that, and it takes usually a good week or so of getting your body acclimated to traveling overseas like that, especially when you're going to Europe. It's not so bad. It's not so bad coming back, but it's really kind of hard to get adjusted when you go over. It's 4 hours to England.
And you've traveled a lot. How the jet lag can creep up on you.
I've gone to when I traveled to Europe. It was always, if I was there. Usually, if I travel for 2 weeks. The first week I'd spend in one area and then move to another plant or something in the other, and the next week. Mm-hmm. The second week after getting to stay over that weekend and such, that's you feel like you're normal. Yeah. But the first week you're always feel like you're behind schedule and sleeping, and it's like you want to be awake at this time when you should be going to sleep, and it's tough.
All we're doing is going down the hotel elevator trying to find a croissant.
And they're trying to get ready. They're trying to go play football for for an hour
backside.
Yeah, really 2 hours plus in real time and an hour of football.
And I don't even know what the time difference is in London.
It's 4 hours.
Oh, it's 4 hours. Okay,
yeah.
so
they're only 4 hours ahead. So it's going East Coast, West Coast.
I gotcha.
But if you're coming from the West Coast, it's from Denver, it's 7 hours. 6 hours. 6 hours.
6 hours for Denver.
Yeah, 3 and 7 hours to the West Coast. So that's a tough game.
I did see also about the travel. Did you see the Bengals actually travel less than any other team in the NFL this year? They're only going to travel 8,000 miles. The Buffalo Bills are going to travel over 25,000 miles.
Well, the Bengals.
Isn't that crazy,
the Bengals the Bengals have the luxury of being more centralized to their opponents than Buffalo's away from everybody unless playing in New York. I mean, they're about as far away from everybody as you can get. Almost.
I mean, it's crazy.
I mean,
so so the Bengals. I just saw that though that they're actually.
I mean, you think about Seattle. It may be closer to go to Russia than
go
to go over to Miami or something.
Yeah. So anyway, the Bengals and the Broncos though, awesome matchup last year. Came down to a shootout. The Broncos kind of got started late and then tried to make it a game at the end, but Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. I just saw a stat today. Actually, I was telling you about the trivia question.
Yeah.
Think about this for a second. Since 2002, these records have been kept. Okay. There's a team since 2002 that have not had a 10 touchdown wide receiver. And we're not going to sit here in dead silence while you think about this, but it's going to blow your mind. So since 2002, this team has not had a 10 touchdown wide receiver.
10 touchdown wide receiver. Man, you think it has to be somebody who runs. I would say maybe like Chicago.
No, but that's a good point. But yeah, that's a really
Jacksonville,
good point.
maybe?
No, it's San Francisco. Terrell Owens
that is surprising.
But they do.
But they
run
are
the ball
running.
I never think about that.
They've moved
aspect.
away from the West Coast offense to more of a run central game. So
That is true.
it is. So they are a running team.
Terrell Owens, 2002. Can you believe that though?
Yeah,
10
they were
touchdowns.
still in the West Coast offense then. So
And then you think about it, they showed Jamar Chase. The reason I'm bringing this up, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both had 10 plus touchdowns this year.
yeah, on the same team.
Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison did it. Demarius Thomas, Eric Decker did it. And then there was one more. Oh, Eric Decker and Brandon Marshall in New York, the Jets. They did it. So there's only been a handful of teammates that have done it like that since 2000. Of course, the Chargers back at Air Coryell, however you Don Coryell. Remember Don Coryell, the head coach for the Chargers? He had that run and shoot offense. They had Lance Stallworth and all these guys. They had 10 plus touchdowns. But anyway, I just thought that was pretty interesting that T. Higgins and Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow. I mean, this team really, if you don't fumble out of the gate losing to the Patriots, I can't remember who the other team was. You all aren't waiting for someone else to lose. You all are kind of controlling your own destiny. I kind of am hearing rumblings like that Joe Burrow is, like this is a make or break year. I can't go that far. I mean, you were just in the Super Bowl, 2 years ago?
Yeah,
but it seems like their offense has a lot of weapons.
But I mean, you're at a peak. It's not offense.
No, it's not.
It's not the offense.
Yeah,
they score
36 points a game.
Yeah, you score, but you got to keep other people from scoring. So take some of the money from the offense. I get it. That's why they couldn't, keep. They're trying to keep everybody, and they can't keep everybody.
But they paid a bag to both of those wide receivers.
Well, they did. I mean, but those guys make it.
T. Higgins lit us up, man.
We have got to have.
We shut Jamar Chase down. T. Higgins
the only thing I wish we had. I wish our tight end core was a little bit better, right? Well, a couple years ago, who was it that was with us in tight end in the Bengals?
The one guy that went to the Super Bowl with. Yeah, he was really good.
But we lost him that year, right? Because we couldn't re-sign him because.
Yeah, if you hadn't asked me, I'd have been able to tell you.
Yeah,
way to go.
So he, but I think that's one piece on offense that we might need. But I think that we've pretty much got it shored up. On offense, it's defense, man.
Yeah.
And I was really happy in the draft to see them spend a lot of draft capital on the defensive line, defensive backs, linebackers specifically, or defensive linemen specifically. I think we got a linebacker maybe two, and defensive end. So I think most of our draft capital was spent on the defensive side. And I'm really happy about that to see where it goes. It's hard to build a championship team just out of the draft these days. So, but I feel at least their heads in the right space where they're trying to get to. They're trying to make the right moves. So
yeah, the schedule makers at the NFL they make their money because it's so funny how they do this. You've got the Week 4 matchup at Denver, Cincinnati at Denver on Monday Night Football. Okay, that's not a coincidence. You've got Joe Burrow. You got.
We have to go all the way to Denver. You and I have to go all the way to Denver for that.
That's right.
It's a long way.
It's a long way. Plus, I just looked at tickets. They're like $900 a piece. I mean, who's paying? That's
the way it is.
Yeah, I ain't doing that.
I mean, the 31st of. By the way, speaking of tickets, the 31st of May is the last day to put in for the lottery to sit in the nosebleed sections for the 2026 NCAA Final Four in Indianapolis. So you
Is that not
it's,
nuts though?
It's like $280 to sit as far up, and then that's just to get you into the there's like a fee just to get into the draft, just to get into the lottery, and then
So you're
it's
not even
like
guaranteed
280.
tickets
It's
at that point.
280 for the 3-game set.
So you're not even guaranteed.
You don't have, you won't spend the 280, but there's a fee. The application fee
I
is like
gotcha.
$80 or something like that just to get in. It's
I'm in the
crazy,
wrong
man.
business.
I'm telling you, man. We need to
We
open
just
an
need to
arena
buy-
somewhere.
And we need to buy a parking lot.
Yeah. Parking is the key, man. Parking is
You know
the key.
the insurance commercials, like, you know, you don't want to be your parents or whatever.
Yeah.
And the guy gets out at the parking lot and he just starts. He's like, "Man, I wonder if they're charging $5 a car, you know, or whatever."
Yeah,
he says.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the way I look at parking lots every time I got to pay for parking. I'm
I
like,
mean,
"Look at
downtown
this."
Louisville, I think it's like
yeah.
$15.
Oh, I mean, people at Derby. I mean, you know, when Derby
yeah.
was it Derby got canceled or something for COVID or something? Did it get canceled for COVID?
No, they canceled.
It was canceled for something, I thought.
They canceled. I think they just
Or they
canceled
pushed it back or
the
something.
festival. It did get pushed back, right?
I can't remember, but I just remember people were up in
Yeah,
arms
it
because
was
I mean, a lot of people bank on that. You know, like they're like,
Yeah.
that's their.
I mean,
honey egg.
now they don't make as much anymore because of when they redid that whole area over there, the fairgrounds
probably added
and Papa
parking or
John
something.
Stadium or whatever it's called nowadays.
Who knows?
What is it?
What is it?
I don't know. What is the name? I thought it was Papa John's, but it's not Papa
It's
John's
not,
anymore because
no.
they
Yeah.
after the whole thing they renamed it. But Churchill Downs is right
Where
there.
the bad guys play. That's all I know.
You used to not even know that Churchill Downs was that close to the fairgrounds until they redid all that over there, and it's like, oh, it just happens
right there.
because Churchill Downs was in a neighborhood,
No,
and the neighborhood had grown up around it. It's
crazy.
and it was just south. It's just south of U of L.
It's such an odd spot for the most like visited sports
Yeah.
event in the country.
Yeah, it's one of the that and the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah,
You know,
that- and
Indianapolis 500 makes sense where it's at,
And even
it's
the Super
central.
Bowl, because the Super Bowl is so kind
And
of
it
out
moves,
of reach.
but it moves.
Yeah, it does move. But the Super Bowl just kind of like is so out of reach for a lot of people. You know, it's just something that's kind of like a bucket list thing. Churchill Downs, everybody can kind of go. You can at least get in the infield. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean you can. It's getting harder and harder though. I mean, I remember when infield
you gotta
tickets were like
fight.
$10 now, and they went to 20. Now they're 40, and I don't know what they are now. And I would much rather sit in the stands these days. I'm too old to sit and watch
Do
them
you know
fight.
that I've never watched the Kentucky Derby?
I mean, I'm not even on TV.
Not even on TV.
That
Is that not insane?
That is insane because you're from Kentucky.
When I used to be on the show on ESPN, we did a segment where somebody called, like I was off the air, and somebody called and said, "Hey, AT, are you going to talk about the Kentucky Derby tomorrow?" Because it was Thursday and it was the Oaks were Friday, and I said probably not. Well, my morning show guy, he was like, "Hey, you probably do need to talk about the Derby because everybody's going to want to hear about it." And I'm like, okay, so literally came on the air. I did my opener, played a music bed, and said the Kentucky Derby starts at 2:00 tomorrow. This has been your update of the Kentucky Derby, and I moved on. I've never understood the appeal. I really haven't.
And that's just when the coverage
yeah,
starts.
that's when the
It's not
coverage
till
starts, yeah.
6:30.
Yeah, whatever.
So
yeah, I don't even know that.
You gotta watch NBC for
Gotta watch 36
for
races.
4.5 hours.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah,
but
they start because the races start at 10 a.m. Because I used to keep up with it all the time.
Yikes. Yeah.
The races start at like 10 a.m. So the first race and the Derby is the 7th race of the day. So I think it's the 7th race. It's either 7th or 8th. I think it's 7th. But yeah, it's
Gosh, I thought there were more races than that. There's only 7?
No, there's some races after the Derby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so yeah, they're still
see,
racing.
yeah.
It goes on after the Derby.
Yeah, I
runs.
don't even know any of that.
Yeah,
If I was
so-
on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I'd have to call you and use you as my lifeline.
Yeah, and
I know
and
nothing.
then I'd be like, I hope it's it's like what race is the Derby because that's about, I'm giving you about as much knowledge as I know.
I do. I have used since I was a little kid the line "riding me like Seattle Slew" because that's what my dad always used to say. But it took me a long time to realize before that was a Derby horse. But anyway, so the Bengals Broncos matchup. But another thing, Russell Wilson's coming to Denver. That wasn't by mistake, I'm sure. But I want to talk about the Bengals real fast because their matchups with the Steelers, the Ravens, the NFC North. I know when Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and all those guys were there. What was his name? Devontae Burfict that
Yeah.
played for you all. A lot of big hitters bingos. Takeo Spikes was a bingo for a long time. You had big hitters, and it was kind of like the attitude of the NFC North. It's cold. It's the blue collar. It's everybody's gonna hit you in the mouth.
But you're in the AFC.
But you're in the AFC. But it's crazy.
Well, I mean,
it's crazy.
But you think about when you think about the AFC Central or the AFC North now.
Yeah.
The AFC North. I mean, it's always been kind of like that bruiser type of game. It's like you've got
Warren
the
Moon was
Steelers.
kind of sexy in that league, but they still ran the ball. They still had a good defense, and they got slaughtered all the time. But back when it was the NFC North, but for the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bengals,
Warren Moon, I think,
Browns.
actually won more when he went to Minnesota.
Oh yeah. Randy Moss. That helps.
But you got the Steelers, you got the Browns, you got the Bengals, and then and Baltimore.
Yeah.
Right. So the Ravens
And the Browns.
So the Browns and the Browns. So that's what I said. The Browns.
Oh, did you say the Browns?
I said
I'm
the
sorry.
Browns. So I was like, well, the Baltimore Ravens used to be the Browns. So
Yeah, that's true.
they moved and then we got a new franchise. That's why it's always been kind of. But I mean, those teams typically beat each other up all season long. Cincinnati last year, struggled.
Yeah.
And they struggled because they struggled against in their division. They didn't start winning. But this seems to be something that's happened a lot in the last 15, 20 years. Is Cincinnati will start off really slow and then they'll catch back up. Maybe it's even longer than that. But it's I don't usually worry I don't usually worry about it too much if they lose those first couple. But when they start losing 3 or 4 games, it's like, where are we at? I mean, we're scoring 30, like you said, 36. We'll score 40 points and lose 42 to 40.
Yeah.
Or something, and that was getting to be crazy. And it's because we just couldn't stop anybody. You got to go find the Indianapolis Colts. That was who they were when Peyton Manning was there.
I mean, just think
they weren't stopping anybody. And then what happened is the Colts didn't win until they brought in
Dwight Freeney and all those guys.
No, I'm talking about the coach.
Jim.
No.
Hold on.
What is he, Cat? You know
Tony
what I'm talking
Dungy.
about. Tony Dungy. Thank you.
I had it.
Love Tony
tip of my
Dungy.
tongue, yeah.
But he's a defensive coach, and he let the offensive guys. Peyton Manning ran the offense for the most part.
Yeah.
And then so he didn't have to worry about it. So he just he'll be the first to tell you he didn't.
Yeah.
But then so that left Tony Dungy to build a defense, and the defense they didn't have a lot of talent on the defensive side but Tony Dungy was able to get as much out of him as he could.
Yeah.
A lot more than you would think.
But I just remember Bob Sanders and Dwight Freeney and those guys. I mean, they really solidified that defense.
They did,
and literally took them to the Super Bowl. Played well.
But they were smallish. They weren't bruisers. They were smallish. They were fast guys.
Fast guys.
And Tony Dungy was the perfect guy for that, because you remember Tony Dungy left. Tony Dungy, a defensive guy, left Tampa Bay, and then comes
John Gruden.
John Gruden, more of an offensive mind. He's a little more balanced, but more offensive minded. And then he takes them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it was like,
it's kind
both of those teams won. I think they won back-to-back Super Bowls, right? The Jacksonville won as soon as Gruden got there, and then I think
Tony Dungy won in his first year.
His first year, he won I think it was his second year. I think Gruden won the first year he was at Tampa Bay, and then the second year Tony Dungy won.
Oh yeah, back to back, yeah. 2002, 2003.
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
But John Gruden, you bring up an interesting point, because John Gruden was more offensive minded, but his defense was Hall of Fame-ish. So it really kind of like like what you said with Tony Dungy, he didn't really have to worry about the offense too much because he had Peyton Manning. He had those guys already in place: Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison.
That's right.
Brandon Stokely.
He had all his dudes come in and work on the defense.
Yeah. So then he just has to worry about the defense. Where John Gruden was like, I got Brad Johnson, so I've got to focus on him and let Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks
but they had
and John
defense
Lynch and all those guys.
But Tony Dungy left
That's
the
right.
defense there.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
So you brought in. It worked out great because they swapped their strength side to a team that needed that strength but already had the other side as a strength. So Gruden comes in, shores up offense for Tampa Bay, they win. Tony Dungy comes in, shores up defense for the Colts, and they win. So it's good stuff.
So the Bengals and Broncos both have one Monday night game. They both have 2 Thursday night games, and then they both have one Sunday night game, with the Broncos getting an extra one with their trip to London.
Man, I really want to go to a game this year.
I would love to. I literally I had a connect, man. Cammy working at Lucas Oil.
Oh yeah,
She was going to get tickets, and Denver goes to Indianapolis.
Then she left. Yeah,
And she left. But I'm going to tell you something. I looked at those tickets.
she's
and-
working for us though. So
Yeah, but are you going to get me tickets? to
I'm
the
not getting
Broncos game?
tickets. we have no ends on tickets.
No ends on tickets. No ends in Indy. They're expensive, man. I mean, my gosh, I gotta like sell a kid or something because it's not.
And you don't have any left.
I don't have any left. They're all
The shelf
grown.
is bare, man.
I mean, I don't know what to do, but it's just, and my thing is with the live game, I love the atmosphere, and I'm gonna tell you something. If you've never been to an NFL game, it is completely different, like college football and all that stuff. Now, I'm sure if you go to a really big college football game down in the swamp or, Death Valley or even Kroger Field, if, some big dog's coming through. But for the most part, the games I've ever been to, there's nothing compared to the atmosphere of an NFL game. And you've got 50, 60, 70, sometimes 80,000 fans screaming their heads off. It's such a great atmosphere.
They can be expensive. I mean, we looked into season tickets one year. We bought some tickets and went to the Cincinnati. It was before we got our Kentucky football tickets.
Yeah.
And so we thought, hey, well, maybe we can get a couple tickets. And they're not unreasonable. They're only unreasonable because you have to go buy somebody else's season tickets, and they're selling them on the secondary market.
Yeah.
And then that's killing you.
Yeah.
But they're, don't get me wrong, they're expensive, like $80, $90, something like that, a ticket, which is expensive, but it's not out of the ordinary. You're only talking about 8 games a year.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's why they're so expensive.
Yeah. And then plus playoff, but then you have, in the playoffs, you get
even
season
more.
passes. You have to get into a lottery for the season passes holders, ticket holders. And then then the rest of them are sold, at an inflated rate. So it's,
Now I will tell you something too. I just looked up Indianapolis tickets, for instance. If they're playing somebody that's whack, you can get a good ticket, but you got to sit in the nosebleeds.
yeah. So
Like level 600 is literally the outside of the thing, and they're $100 a piece.
like I don't know if our cousin still has her tickets or not for Cincinnati, but we bought those tickets from her one year, and when we went to Cincinnati, and it was it was good times, good tickets. It was in zone. It was kind of up underneath the overhang. You're on the lower deck, but you're
Okay, so yeah, you're looking at about $170 to sit there for the Texans and the Colts. That's a pretty big game.
yeah. So
Texans have come up.
yeah,
CJ Stroud.
I mean it is. I mean in the NFL, almost every game, you don't know who's who.
Oh, yeah, you don't know.
You don't know
Yeah.
who's who until it happens.
Yeah. Any
because
given Sunday.
yeah, it's right. Any given Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, the ownership meetings, the NFL owners meetings, just happened this past week, and of course, the big story
We
was.
are NFL heavy today, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, that's all right. We both like
It's okay with me. The NFL owners meeting takeaway was the tush push. The big takeaway. So the tush push. If you're not familiar with the tush push, I don't see what the big deal is with it. I really don't. I think it's maybe player safety is what they're screaming.
No, they're screaming they can't
They
stop
can't
it.
stop it. And
That's what they're screaming.
Well, to me, stop it because stop it.
I mean, it used to be at one time it was illegal to do.
So it looks like they've kind of
to
adopted-
aid another player in
Yes.
going forward.
But your offensive lineman, your fullback, all those, even your running back will push one of those guys into them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I remember Terrell Davis used to run with Howard Griffith. They called him the human plow. But really, the human plow was running in front of Terrell Davis. He literally had his hand on the back of his jersey, like shoving him towards,
Yeah, it was a
guys that were
shield.
potential blockers or tacklers. So, yeah, I just don't see why it would be illegal. I really don't.
No,
But it
there's a
looks like
lot
it's
of
an
things.
adopted rugby style.
Yeah, it's it's something that it's like if you made it illegal, it doesn't make. There's a lot of things that they make illegal in sports just for the game itself, so the
Like
game
the
can move
competitive
forward,
edge.
keep the competitive, keep it competitive and such.
Like if
And-
it looks like it's unstoppable, they might take it out.
I mean, the tush push is unstoppable in the fact that it's unstoppable. You're only getting like a yard or
A
two.
yard.
It's about getting that 10th yard,
Yeah.
right? And so, or the 1 yard touchdown plunge, or maybe 2 yards or something like that. You do the tush push twice, and yes, it's hard. It's hard to stop. The thing is you got to keep them from getting to that point. If you cannot keep them from getting to that point, then that's when you're losing that. You lost already. So
Yeah.
It's like this. There's no reason it should be illegal. It's not something I would say it's unethical or anything like that to do. So but at the same time, I'm worried that it's becoming so popular that are we going to revert back to we're going to tush push for first, second, third down? I'm going to figure out tush push for 3 downs and see what happens.
What
back
my point is too is there's only
3
really
yards
one team
and
there's
a
only,
cloud of dust.
there's only one team really doing it, and that's Philly. I mean, there's really not a lot
there's
of
other teams that are
I know,
doing
but
it,
I mean,
but
they
they're
call it the
they're
brotherly shove. I mean,
yeah.
it's kind of in their repertoire where it's like if it's 3rd or 4th and 1,
I'm not even sure they're the
tush push.
first one to do it.
Oh no, I don't think so.
I think it's something that's happened before. It's just that they kind of perfected it, and it's only going to work until it only works until it doesn't. You get a different set of personnel, and all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore.
Okay, well, we say it's unstoppable. I do want to read you this.
It's not unstoppable.
No.
It's just that it's a hard thing.
It's
to
a
stop.
hard thing to stop, but I will tell you this. So this is the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, their conversion rate. Okay, who do you think led the league in conversion rate on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1? Now, this is a quarterback, not because Jalen Hurts would be the one getting pushed. So this is a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm telling. Let's see. 3rd and 1 on the sneak. And basically, you're talking about the sneak,
basically.
Right? Or Joe Burrows.
Okay, no. Josh Allen.
That's who I was trying to think of.
Josh Allen.
I couldn't get it out of my
listen,
mind.
Josh Allen wasn't number 1. I only said Josh Allen because that's who my guess would be. He was 2. Jaden Daniels was 12 for 12 this year on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. Well, that shocked me. Okay.
Yeah.
Josh Allen was 2. 3rd was actually Bo Nix, and I didn't bring it up just to say Denver's quarterback. 4th was Jalen Hurts. So, I mean, all this talk about the tush push and all this stuff.
But that comes down to situation though, right?
Well, I mean,
because
3rd and 1, 4th and 1, we're talking about being an unstoppable play for 1 yard. It only converted 61% of the time.
So, I get that. But
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a big drop off from
it
80%.
is. But when is it always 1 yard?
Well,
Are they just doing it one? If it's 3rd and 2, what if it's 3rd and 2?
I don't know. I don't think it was in that
4th and 2
because it said 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 was my point.
Okay, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Okay.
Yeah, and it just shocked me.
Yeah.
I would think it would be a higher
I think it's
conversion.
situational.
I mean, you're talking about owners that have gotten together to ban this thing. I just thought it would be more.
I'm not necessarily a proponent to ban it. I just it's one of those things where it's like it's a very difficult thing to stop.
I'm not saying it's not because
even at 61%. You shouldn't be converting on 4th and 1 at 61%.
I mean, that's true too. But I mean, with the analytics, everybody's going for 4th down.
Well, I mean, but that also goes into the fact that when you think about all the things that the owners have limited over the years, defense has been the thing that's been limited the most.
Yeah, and it's still.
And you go back and look at how defense was played in the 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s.
You don't have to go back that far.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it is. You have basically taken defense out of the game. And now they're saying, well, we're going to, so I'm not, that's why I kind of line up on the side of like, well, if they ban it, what do I care? I mean, they've banned other things on the defensive side to make it more open up the offense. So maybe it's okay. But nobody's getting hurt doing that.
Yeah. I've never seen anybody.
I've never seen anybody, yeah.
I mean, in the Super Bowl, they did it 5 times.
It's a simple scrum. And it's like, nobody's lining up. I mean, people get hurt. When they run 15 yards and smash into each other, that's when people are getting hurt when they're coming together.
I love the kickoff. Did you like the new kickoff?
I like it enough. I mean, it's different, and it took me a minute to say, okay, yeah, but I look at it, it's like, it's not too bad. I mean, there's a lot more action going on in the kickoff now than there was. 90% of the kickoffs were touchbacks. So maybe 95%.
Yeah.
So you have action, and the fact that you're not running so far,
And you're supposed to not be getting such a head start.
It's more of a it's more and they're not because you're lined up face to face 5 yards or something like that off of the defense.
I'm not sure. It's longer than that. I
is
think.
it actually?
I think it's longer than that.
I mean, lineman to lineman.
Oh yeah, 5 yards. Yeah.
Is it 5 yards? Is it 5 yards apart?
Yes.
And then they can't move until the ball's caught in the zone.
Caught in the zone.
So that means nobody's going
taken off with just like arena football when you see people lining up 20 yards behind the running back taking a straight shot out. It's the same thing. It slows the defense down, but it also gives them, like you said, more opportunities to return. I liked it.
I did too. I mean, ultimately, it grew on me. So I was happy with it.
So, so the tush push, 24 owner votes out of 32 was needed and was not reached. Okay, so we did the math. We've double checked the numbers. That is a 3/4 vote needed. I always thought like 2/3 was kind of like the mark, like 2/3.
2/3 is usually in like Congress and such.
I know.
Yeah, but it's not.
Not in the NFL. The NFL's their own entity.
3/4, and it's like, you look at this and you have 20, you have 32 teams. So if you're looking at 2/3 would be 22, so they would have passed at 2/3, but 3/4 didn't pass.
Needed 24, got 22. So 22-10 to ban the play, according to NFL media. For the proposal to be approved, it needed to reach 2/3 majority, at least 24 votes. So
3/4.
3/4. Sorry. What did I say?
You read it.
Oh, I read it. Yeah. So this was a razor thin margin that snuck through. And my thing is like, you had 10 owners that were like, we've got to ban this. I wish I could find out who they were. I know Denver was one of them.
No, they had.
It hurt me.
I'm sorry, they had 22 owners that said that ban it. They had 10 that said don't ban it.
10 that said don't
because it didn't reach the threshold. There's only 10 teams.
I said it backwards.
So
yes.
Philadelphia.
Yeah. Philadelphia's one. Yeah, I guess we could play detective and find them out. But Denver spilled the beans. Yeah. They said they voted against it. I thought, or voted to ban it. What a bunch of pansies, man. So I hate that.
I mean, they can do whatever they want. They're the owners. They can do whatever they want. They're the owners, but it's the it gives us something to talk about.
Hey, I want to talk about this. Speaking of owners, they just released out of the owners meeting. I wish I'd put this on here because it was just a neat graphic to see. So Rob Walton owns the Walton Penner Group. What is his name? Anyway, Greg Penner. Greg Penner owns the Denver Broncos. Condoleezza Rice, she's an owner of the Broncos, majority owner of the Broncos, or a minority owner of the Broncos, and the Walton Group. So Rob Walton is worth $77 billion with a B. The next owner to him is $23 billion. There is a $50 billion gap between the Denver Broncos and the next team. I can't remember who it was, but is that not nuts? And it wasn't Jerry Jones,
but the owner, right?
The owner,
yeah. But Rob Walton is out of the Walmart group, right?
Yeah.
He's in Walmart,
yeah. And actually, if you look at it, like was it Stan Kroenke or?
I mean, they're him and his brothers and sisters are all.
Oh yeah, they're all loaded.
Yeah, I mean, Walmart's still one of the.
Thanks, Sammy. You shop at Sammy's.
He did it right, man.
Oh yeah, man.
He did it right.
Left the. Fortune.
I mean, we can talk stories about that. I mean, because you remember I worked at Walmart for a little while.
Yeah.
And the stories were I worked there about the time he passed away. I think so. I think he had just passed away, not right around that time. And they would tell stories about him coming to the store. He would go visit all the stores, at least in the U.S. But he made it a job, and he would show up. You would think he would show up in some nice car or whatever. Nope, showed up in like a little, a little compact car. He wore very modest, very just like a sweater and jeans or whatever.
Mr. Rogers.
He was like and he was just like everybody's grandpa coming to check out the store. That's a very interesting story.
I don't think his kids are as frugal.
No, I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure they're buying football teams and things like that. Yeah. But that story, there's a good story there because his whole point was about the distribution system. We can have a whole segment on that. And on the other show one of these days about it. And it's an interesting story. It's a good thing to learn from if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to build a business and stuff. The things that he did, he actually started out as a franchise owner of another store,
Wow.
and that franchise could not supply his stores fast enough and efficiently. He was constantly running out of one thing, having too much of another. And so he went to him and said, "Hey, here's my plan, what I would like to do." And they said no. And he said, "Okay,
Oh my
then
goodness.
I will go do it." And then he built the Walmart out of that.
So it was really kind of like a distribution
His
journey more
his
than-
distribution, because you notice that Walmart, like at the time, Walmart was there was no other store. Every other store had they had a giant warehouse in the back of their store for stock. And he was like, that's so inefficient. So what he did was use just-in-time delivery. And so he put all the storage in central locations amongst stores and had it feed all the stores every night. And so he didn't have to have the footprint in every store. He only had to have warehouse space centrally. And then he just sent enough to each store to fill the shelves every night. And then it was an automatic system for them to do their inventory, and that inventory ordered from the distribution center.
Wow.
And that's what built Walmart.
Hey,
That's why Walmart-
It is pretty interesting. I learned something on the sports talk show. That's pretty cool. Yeah, no, yeah. So
It's good stuff.
and of course, he hands down this empire to his kids, and his
the rest is history.
grandson. I think Rob's his grandson. Doesn't matter.
I don't think he would have. I think he gave it to the kids.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he gave it to the kids, and then, I mean, they may have already started distributing it to their kids or something. But I mean, come
Rob's
on,
up there,
Walmart.
though, so-
Walmart is still Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart's still Walmart, and they own the Broncos.
Here's a little thing about Walmart, though.
Okay.
Walmart is talking about raising their prices for tariffs, and 70-something% of their products are made in the United States. So how are they raising the prices for tariffs? I mean, 70% of their products are still made in the United States that they sell, something like that.
Guess that. Wow.
And so, but then they're telling everybody they're going to raise prices for tariffs because of tariffs. That's the word on the street anyway. And so
I think that's how billionaires make more money than I do. Is they just start jacking prices up to jack prices up.
But that worries me that some people are going to say I'm going to now. Obviously, on 30% of their
the
products,
Broncos, so they're probably going to be the world's most hated people on the planet.
on the 30. No, I still have a great appreciation for Sam Walton and what he did.
Yeah.
I have a great appreciation for. I think it's Adolphus Bush that made from Anheuser-Busch, because not from a beer standpoint, because I'm not a beer guy, never have been, never will be. But this from the point of view of they had to go through Prohibition.
Oh wow, yeah, that is cool. Yeah.
And so how do they
even think about that? So they were around during Prohibition or before?
Before and after, and so they had to go through Prohibition. So
wow,
that's a whole nother story. I'll tell us another time. But it's a cool thing.
They should have been featured on Peaky Blinders.
Something.
Yeah, it is pretty neat though. International Olympic Committee out of the NFL owners meeting, the International Olympic Committee approved flag football as an official sport for the 2028 Summer Olympics.
Oh yeah, this is a story.
This is cool. So the decision marks a significant milestone for American football, which has never been official Olympic sport before. The flag football event will consist of a 5-on-5 played on a 50-yard field. The NFL has expressed strong support, and it passed this past week for the flag's football inclusion to the Olympics. Recently, NFL owners voted to allow their players to participate, which could lead a dream team scenario similar to the basketball success in the Olympics.
Now, are they going to play? They're going to play this in the Summer Olympics.
2028. That'll be their first one, and there's also 2 other sports that have been added. I think lacrosse has not ever been a Olympic sport. It is now, and something else I can't remember.
Lacrosse is also like an American sport, right? I mean,
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember.
Doesn't sound very American.
No, well, lacrosse is just one name for it, right? So
LaCroix.
I don't know.
LaCroix.
I have to go. I have to look into that. For some reason, I thought that was a mostly American sport. It may not have been invented here, but
I don't know.
But it was.
I have no idea.
Hockey wasn't invented here.
Lacrosse is still a sport though that is picking up traction, because I think a lot of times, and this is a whole nother segment, but I think a lot of times with the health and player safety stuff with the football. I think people are trying to, especially get their kids to play other sports. I think soccer and all that stuff is starting to pick up more and more because it gets them out of football. That's just my
Are they
opinion.
playing frisbee football? Have they picked that up yet?
I don't know. I've never seen frisbee football.
You ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
There's some. What's it called? It's called
Ultimate frisbee.
Ultimate frisbee.
Yes.
Yeah. It's basically football with frisbees.
With
right?
a frisbee. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think they have. But flag.
I'm just wondering,
Yeah, no, I don't
You
know.
were saying there were some other sports, so lacrosse, football, or
Oh yeah,
flag
yeah.
football.
No, I don't think it was.
so
that.
what else is coming?
So the NFL expressed strong support for this.
This is the same group that gave us trampoline.
That is true. Yeah, and another group that gave
and
us
breakdancing.
XFL and everything
And
else.
breakdancing,
Yeah, breakdancing. Real fast though. The kind of the joke about the NFL nowadays is like, well, one day they're just gonna play flag football. Well,
Here we are.
Here it comes. I like this though.
Flag football is like what, 7-on-7?
It's 5-on-5.
It's 5-on-5.
The Olympic, the way that they have laid this out, it's going to be 5-on-5. No offensive linemen. You're going to have just skill position players. Is what it
So
seems
there's
like
no
it's gonna
rush,
be.
no
rush.
or
Or there
Is
might
it
be
3 Mississippi?
3 Mississippi, yeah, 5 Mississippi. But I'm just excited about it because one,
I like
I
it.
like the. I guess we'll put it this way. I think that there's going to be, at least they've talked about it, former players as well playing flag football for the Olympic teams. I just think that's cool because, I think like the Pro Bowl, it's just not respected because these guys
they don't play football.
They don't
during
play
the Pro,
football and
during
they
the
don't
Pro
want
Bowl.
to.
No,
That's the thing.
They want to play flag football.
They want to play flag football because they don't want to smack
They want to
their
show
heads
off
anymore.
skill.
You know what I'm saying? Yes.
They want to show off skill, but they
And-
don't want to smash into anybody.
Hey, but I love that. Don't you remember the quarterback competitions back in the day?
loved it.
Loved that.
I loved it. But I don't love it on the football field though. I don't love to say, oh, we're going to pretend we're playing football.
Oh, no, I
And
hate that.
And so
Oh, yeah.
if you say, hey, we're going to play flag football, then I can
Then
appreciate
get
it as
in
flag
Yes,
football.
Absolutely. Do
Yeah.
not put the pads on if you're not going to use them.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the wrong kind of pads. But anyway, I think that you've got to look at it in a way that I think this is exciting for these former football players. I mean, it would just be cool. Chad Ochocinco's already been talking. He's coming. You know what I mean? He's ready.
Oh my gosh, he's an old man now.
Oh yeah, 50-some years old, but he said he still runs a 4.40. So we'll see.
We'll see.
But Deion Sanders, he said he can't play because he's only got 8 toes. But there's a lot of older former players that are, at least commenting on this, going, that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, but I got to think that Ochocinco is probably not going to make the team.
Yeah, probably not.
He's 50-something years old. You're not going to make that team. There's going to be a lot of 20-somethings out there that are going to be faster and can jump higher now. And,
What's that? Isn't there a
and you're
commercial?
not going to lose a knee or an Achilles every time, just by starting off.
Isn't there a commercial with like Barry Sanders and Jerry Rice and them like coming back to football? And they're like, they play like one play or something, and they're all just like
something like that.
Yeah, just like go back on the
it
couch.
seems like there
Something
was.
like that.
I'm trying to think. I have to look that up.
Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, well, good show, man.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty
another
fun.
one. So, what's next, man? Next week?
Yeah, next week.
We'll come back next Friday and check out what's going on. And
And everybody stay tuned. I think we've got some stuff in the works. So
yeah,
stay
we're trying
tuned.
to roll this thing into a nice into a well branded machine if we can. So and we actually had a phone line for you guys to call in today, but we didn't give it to you. So next time you're on and you want to talk sports with us, we'll give that out to you and let you guys talk. Let you all come back and
Perfect.
Aaron,
Appreciate
man,
it, brother. It's always fun, man.
Always
Always fun.